Hello and welcome to the Certified Ethical Hacker Study Guide. In this video we will discuss Chapter 4.4 HTTP Basics and other information gathering methods. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's groove our way into the first topic. After this short break. Using HTTP Basics. Recall that HTTP operates on port 80 and HTTPS, the secure version of HTTP, operates on port 443. Both versions use HTTP commands, also known as methods, to interact with web servers. A security tester can pull information from a web server using HTTP commands. You've probably seen HTTP client error codes before, such as 404 not found. A basic understanding of HTTP can be beneficial to security testers, and you don't have to know too many codes to extract information from a web server. If you know the return codes a web server generates, you can determine what OS is used on the computer where you're conducting a security test. Next, we will look at a list of common HTTP client errors after this short break. HTTP client errors. 400 bad request not understood by server. 401 unauthorized request requires authentication. 402 payment required, reserved for future use. 403 forbidden server understands the request but refuses to comply. 404 not found, unable to match request. 405 method not allowed. Note, methods are covered later in this module. 406 not acceptable. Resource doesn't accept the request. 407 proxy authentication required. Client must authenticate with proxy. 408 request timeout. Request not made by client in allotted time. 409 conflict request couldn't be completed because of an inconsistency. 410 gone. Resource is no longer available. 411 length required. Content length not defined. 412 precondition failed. Request header fields evaluated as false. 413. Request entity too large. Request is larger than server is able to process. 414 request URI, uniform resource identifier, too long. Request URI is longer than the server is willing to accept. Now let's roll into the next topic right after this short break. HTTP server errors. 500 internal server error request couldn't be fulfilled by the server. 501 not implemented. Server doesn't support the request. HTTP methods. 502 bad gateway server received invalid response from the upstream server. 503 service unavailable server is unavailable because of maintenance or overload. 504 gateway timeout. Server didn't receive a timely response. 505 HTTP version not supported. HTTP version not supported by the server. You don't have to be fluent in using HTTP methods, but you need to be well versed enough to use the most basic HTTP method. Get HTTP 1. Get retrieves data by URI head, same as the get method but retrieves only the header information of an HTML document, not the document body options. Requests information on available options. Trace. Starts a remote application layer loopback of the request message. Connect used with a proxy that can dynamically switch to a tunnel connection such as Secure Sockets Layer, SSL, or Transport Layer Security, TLS. Delete. Requests that the origin server delete the identified resource put. Requests that the entity be stored under the request URI post. Allows data to be posted, that is sent to a web server. If you know HTTP methods, you can send a request to a web server, and from the generated output, determine what OS the web server is using. You can also find other information that could be used in an attack, such as known vulnerabilities of operating systems and other software. After you determine which OS version a company is running, you can search for any exploits that might be used against that network's systems. Now let's slip into the next topic, right after this short break. So far, you have learned several methods for gathering information from company websites and email addresses. With only a URL, you can determine which web server and OS a company is using, and learn the names of IT personnel, for example. You need to be aware of other methods attackers use to gather information about a company. Some of these methods, such as using cookies and web beacons, are unscrupulous. A web bug is one type of web beacon. A cookie is a text file generated by a web server and stored on a user's browser. The information in this file is sent to the web server when the user returns to the website. For example, a returning customer can be shown a customized web page when he or she revisits an online store's website. Some cookies can cause security issues because unscrupulous people might store personal information in cookies that can be used to attack a computer or server. Other cookies store sensitive information, such as user credentials, unencrypted. A web bug is a 1 pixel x 1 pixel image file referenced in SYN-ACK, and it usually works with a cookie. It is one type of web beacon, a hidden graphic or piece of code embedded in a web page to track user activity and harvest user information. The purpose of a web bug is similar to that of spyware and adware, to collect information about the person visiting the website, such as an IP address, when the web bug was viewed, and the type of browser used to view the page. All this information can be useful to hackers. Web bugs are not from the same website as the web page creator. They come from third-party companies specializing in data collection. Because web bugs are a type of standard image file, usually a GIF, they can't be blocked by a browser or rejected by a user. Also, web bugs usually match the color of the web page's background, which renders them invisible. Another form of web beacon embeds JavaScript code into the web pages of a website. That JavaScript code returns tracking information to a data-gathering organization. This type of web beacon is also hidden from the user because it is part of the background code of a web page and is not visible. If you don't have a tool for detecting web bugs or JavaScript web beacons, one way to find them is by examining the web page's source code to find a file in and tag loading from a web server different from other image files on the page. Using a different server might indicate that the image file is a web bug. Also look for pieces of JavaScript that seem to be collecting and sending data to known data harvesting organizations. Another way to detect web beacons is to check the network connections on a machine, perhaps using Netstat, or capture network traffic, perhaps using Wireshark, and see if data is being sent to known data harvesting organizations. In the next activity, you research the topic of web beacons. As you do, you will likely discover who these data harvesting organizations are. Security professionals need to be aware of cookies and web beacons to keep these information gathering tools off company computers. Now let's ride into the next topic, right after this short break. Many companies include cookies in their web pages to gather information about visitors to their websites. This information might be used for competitive intelligence or to determine visitors' buying habits, for example. Security testers should know how to verify whether a web page contains cookies. Boot your computer into Windows and start the Microsoft Edge web browser. If you have been using this browser in Windows, cookies are probably loaded on your computer already, so you can analyze them as well as the new cookies you create in this activity by visiting a new site. Click the Settings and More button in the upper right corner of the Edge window, and then click Settings. On the Settings page, click the Cookies and Site Permission link in the left pane, and then click Manage and Delete Cookies and Site Data in the right pane. On the Cookies and Site Data page, click the See All Cookies and Site Data link. Click the Expand icon, a down arrow, to the right of a listed website to open a list of specific cookie groups. Click the View Local Data icon, a right arrow, for a site to display the specific cookies stored for the group. In the list of specific cookies, click the Expand icon to see the data stored in a cookie. If you find this video useful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. To see more videos like this, please click in the rectangle in the middle of your screen. To see other videos from this channel, please click the circle on the bottom right. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.